Hi everyone, so I have a review with swatches, sort of a review, and demo for this foundation. It is not a new foundation, but this is a new shade, and it's the Tarte Amazonian Clay Full Coverage Foundation in Porcelain Beige. They expanded their range. I think it went from like 26 to 40 colors perhaps. I'm not 100% sure. I know Ulta only has 26 colors right now, and on Tarte's website they have 40. So as far as I know, most of the shades were, in the medium to deep range, and they only went one lighter with this porcelain color. And historically, I have never used a Tarte foundation other than samples of the Rainforest of the Sea, because that one in, I think, some porcelain shade perhaps, was a good color, but did not work on my face at all, didn't wear well. And everything else they carried was too dark. So they did a promotion where this was $25, and with the new shade, I jumped on it, bought it from Tarte's website, and I have it here for you today. So I will go ahead and insert some swatches, then I will talk about my skin tone, my preferences on a foundation, my skin type, all that good stuff. So here's the swatches. Tarte Shape Tape in Fair, Tarte Amazonian Clay Full Coverage in Porcelain Beige, Cover FX Power Play in N0, Maybelline Superstay in 102 Fair Porcelain, Revlon Colorstay in 110 Ivory, Idun Minerals Nordic Veil in Jorunn, NARS Sheer Glow in Siberia. So as you can see, it's not the lightest of the light foundation that I have. So Cover FX Power Play in N0, the Idun Minerals Nordic Veil, those are my kind of really fair foundations. Another foundation I didn't swatch for you today because it's downstairs, unfortunately, I don't want to take the time to get it, is the Fenty Pro Filter Soft Matte in 100, and it is fairly similar to like the Cover FX Power Play in N0. I will link my foundation playlist, which has a whole bunch of swatch videos, a whole bunch of review videos, so if you're interested, I do have review and demos of like the Fenty, the Cover FX, the Maybelline Superstay, etc. So my skin tone in MAC terms would probably be around NC5 to not to NC10, but just kind of in that range, NC5-ish, if MAC made something that light. I do have kind of a cool yellow undertone. I prefer things that have that kind of cool yellow coloring to them, like the NARS Sheer Glow. This can be a little bit dark, but since it works so well for me undertone-wise, it doesn't matter that much. Things that are more neutral to pink, this Cover FX is supposed to be neutral, but on me, because it doesn't have enough warmth, it tends to look a little bit more pasty white as opposed to something that matches kind of the yellowish look of like my neck and my hands and everywhere else. So I'm generally attracted to things that have more of a warm undertone. This one, but when you are extremely fair, you don't have a lot of choices. So I tend to just get whatever, and either it looks like it blends well, or it maybe looks a little bit strange, but I just kind of work with it. So this one did say that it has more of a cool undertone to it. On me, I mean, I feel like it looks warm enough. It doesn't have that kind of pinkish look. That's something that, it ends up working out okay for me, because when things are a little bit too dark, sometimes they go a little bit more peachy, and that works fine with my personal skin tone. As far as wear goes, so my skin type, my cheeks, some spots around where I have dermatitis, those are dry or very dry depending on what the situation is. I find I can work with almost any foundation as long as I prep well. There are a couple extremely matte foundations that just do not work on my face no matter how well I prep my skin. But in general, I can usually make something work as long as I've got the right skincare underneath. I do get oily through my T-zone. I would say it's kind of moderately oily now. When I'm pregnant, which has been, 3 times in the past, it tends to be just slightly oily, but now, I'm not pregnant. and it's the summer and my oil production has come back to life. So any sort of dewiness you see on my face is really, none of that is from any sort of highlight or anything like that. That's just my skin combined with the foundation. So I do prefer something that, I want something that's going to be long wearing. I don't want like a really powdered matte look because my dry areas are also where I have more noticeable pores, where I have more lines, and it just makes me look older if you can really see that dry foundation on my face. So it can be pretty aging. So I'll go ahead and zoom in so you can see, hopefully, how this is looking on my face. I would say that it is not the most like seamless, natural looking finish, but for when I wore this yesterday, it wore all day looking the exact same. When I put it on, I thought, you know what, this is gonna be one that's gonna start looking so cakey throughout the day because it had a little bit of that just slightly more makeup-y look, but it never did. It never changed. It just stayed the same. It rubbed off a tiny bit on my face, but I also have very small children like touching my face all the time and, you know, headbutting me and whatnot. So that is, I am not going to fault the foundation. I did not powder. I, again, prefer not to powder when I can because I feel like my skin looks better without powder. And this wore very nicely without powder. I will say that for me, skincare underneath, like I mentioned, is really super important. And I did wear it with the Apollo's Choice Super Light Daily Wrinkle Defense SPF 30. This stuff, if you have oily skin, if you're looking for an SPF that's going to keep your makeup on, that almost acts like a primer, this one is awesome, and I keep saying it, but I really should do a dedicated video to this SPF because it's amazing what a difference this particular sunscreen does for me as far as keeping stuff on my face. And it doesn't wear weirdly, it doesn't ball up, it's just so good. The texture of this, as you could see in the demo, it's kind of almost like a moussey texture. It's thick, it doesn't move around, and it has that feel of like a slightly more liquidy version of like a straight up mousse makeup. So when I was trying to do the swatch, I was actually having some difficulty just blending it with my finger because it's like it just wanted to spread out right away and set down. I cannot apply foundation with a brush in any consistent manner. It will often cause foundation to kind of like settle into my pores, so I never even try. I feel like this spreads out nicely with a sponge, and I think that it probably works well for a brush if you can use a brush, just based on that kind of drier texture, and how well it kind of just smooths out on your face. So I would definitely recommend trying it with a brush if other foundations work for you applied with a brush, because I think this would probably be a good one. I don't know that the sponge is like the best fit for this formula, but it worked fine for me. So yeah, I was able to get a solid 12 hours with the only noticeable issue being it wore down a little bit on my nose where somebody definitely rubbed on it. It didn't break down funny on my chin, which is a major problem area. A lot of foundations will start wearing away on my chin, but it's like all the pores, it looks like they're all clogged, and it will be all these little dots and bumps of kind of where the foundation is left on this little bump and it wore away somewhere else. It's not a good look at all, and this did not do that. I was so surprised how well it wore. So the formula isn't new, and there's probably about 1 million different reviews on it out there, but I did want to give my thoughts on it as far as this new shade went. If you are the fairest of porcelain skins, I don't know that it will work the best. I feel that there are maybe like one shade lighter out there. I don't think I'm the absolute fairest, and also the other kind of thing I can fudge things with is I use a lighter coverage, and since I have the freckles and my skin on my face is naturally quite a bit darker, I feel like it just kind of works. I can kind of fudge the color a little bit more than if you have just that clear porcelain kind of skin tone. So I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions on the product, how it wore, any of the other foundations I mentioned. I have a lot of foundations. And if you want a review on anything, I'm not looking to go out and buy a bunch of different foundations. I will say one review that I will hopefully be doing sometime in the near future whenever it comes out is the new Colourpop foundation. I'm so excited about that because I just got the Colourpop concealer here recently, and I really like the consistency of it, and the Fair 02 shade is very, very light. It's basically, there are a couple concealers that go extremely, extremely light, and this is similar to those. So that's exciting. And even though it's like matte and it dries really fast, I really liked how it worked on my skin. So I've been really excited about that, and the idea that the foundation is going to be like the concealer, I think that's pretty exciting. So that I will be looking to purchase as soon as it comes out. I'm very excited. I really do like Colourpop. I've liked just about everything I've bought from them, with the exception of a few things. So yes, good stuff. So thank you so much for watching and liking and subscribing and commenting and all that stuff. I really do appreciate it. If you want to see more videos from me, then please do subscribe, perhaps hit the bell. I don't know. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.